We are live. Hello, everybody, and thank you for watching another episode of the Unicorner. I'm so excited because Amy Hogan is here, breakthrough coach, sister of one of my dear friends.
Always.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being here today. It's amazing. And for anybody watching again, you know the drill. You can write questions or comments in the comments below, and if you're watching later on, we can feel free to write comments or questions still, and I'll go back after and answer them. Okay, so we're diving into living your purpose and how people can do that. What did we call it again? What was the fancy name you made up?
Oh, yeah, from navel gazing to trailblazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
How to start living your purpose.
Yeah.
I love these conversations. They're so fun. And before we dive into it, just tell everybody about yourself, please.
Yeah, where do I start? So, I live in Toronto here in Canada, so I love to be here with you, a fellow Canadian girl.
Yeah.
And I have always been passionate about like the outdoors and the environment and helping people. So before I started becoming a coach in the past year, for the previous 12 years, I worked for local government in the area of climate change and sustainability. And that part of it, like the environmental side and the people, was very rewarding. But I noticed as time went on, I was questioning if I was really making a difference. And it felt kind of unfulfilling. And I don't know, I feel like I'd kind of gotten to the point in life where I was like, so now what? Like I had a really good job. I love my husband. We've been together for 12 years. We have a cottage. We have a house in the city of Toronto. Like, I just felt like, we could go on trips and we have friends, and I just thought like, wow, like life is pretty good. So now what? Now what? Do I just keep doing the same thing for the next like 35 years until I retire, or like till like whatever's gonna happen until I'm 70? The thought of that like scared me to death, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is terrifying.
It was about a year ago. A friend of mine started talking to me about coaching, and it was probably about over 2 years ago. Didn't know what coaching was really. I just thought, wow, like you get to help people live their dreams and live their purpose. Like, this is so cool. So I hired her and we worked together, and I explored lots of different career options. I thought about becoming a social worker or maybe becoming a therapist, because I just knew I wanted to help people, but I wasn't sure how. So maybe like some of your people, right? Like they kind of know the other unicorns here, like they maybe know kind of what they like. They're like, how do I make that a career? Or what do I do with that?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
And then through talking to her, I just realized that I want to become a coach. Like, I just love this work so much. So after a lot of navel gazing, I just like quit my job and jumped in with 2 feet, started my business. I've been taking a year-long certification program so I can be like a registered certified coach. So that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. So I love that you're a breakthrough coach. I love that name. Breakthrough coach. It sounds so fantastic. So tell us, like, what does that mean for you? Like, breakthrough coach.
Yeah. So for me, that means that through the work, like through the coaching work, I've had a lot of breakthroughs, or like this new level of awareness. And to me, a breakthrough is when we have this awareness and then like new action is created around it, and we kind of like never go back to the way that things were. And not that there was anything wrong with the way things were, but maybe it wasn't really working for us. Right. So it's it's kind of like this permanent shift to like your mindset and your action, and like you're on a new level going forward.
Yeah.
So those are the like, that's the kind of awareness and things that I create with my clients.
Yeah.
And I kind of just thought it sounded more fun than just life coach. So,
Yeah, it does. I love that. I do. And I mean, I call myself an elevated lifestyle coach, right? So it's taking a step away from that generic sounding life coach thing, right? That you know, maybe some people don't really understand too much, right? Because it's kind of vague when you think about it. When you just say life coach, like what does that mean? But I love the idea of breakthrough coach. And so working with your own coach, I mean, you've obviously had lots of breakthroughs. Yeah. It's an amazing process, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's like nothing better than when like I'm on the phone with a client and you just hear them get quiet for a minute and then they're like, oh, or wow. Like, you know, they've kind of like something has clicked in them.
Yeah.
And with that awareness, like things are going to be different, you know? So it's so cool to be holding that space for people and to asking those questions for them to like generate and create their own breakthroughs.
Absolutely. It is seriously such an rewarding thing to be doing for people. I mean, I totally resonate with you when you're saying why you do it. It's why I do it. Why hopefully all of us do it. That's coaching. So why is coaching important to you?
Good question. I feel like, I don't know how deep I'll go with this, but I feel like in some way we all, whatever career or whatever we choose, it's sure, I think definitely like I love helping people and seeing the results of that and having them change their life. But to kind of just make it like a selfish thing for a minute, which I think there has to be like something in it for you or else we would never do it. Is I just love the way it makes me feel. It makes me feel like I'm making a difference. It makes me feel worthy. It makes me feel valued. It makes me feel like I'm making an impact. And it's like an impact that I can see on a daily basis. Yeah. And I think that's where I struggled before, like in my 9-to-5 job, that I knew in some way I was making a difference, but it didn't seem like enough, or I wasn't like seeing the results of it every day. And it's almost like more wanting that like instant gratification of like meeting people like you and having conversations and just knowing that you can make that like a fairly significant difference in people's lives every day.
Yeah. Super powerful. And then when you think about having your own coach, like the transformation that it provided you, I mean, I know when I started working with my coach, the difference between like Deelle 2 years ago and Deelle now is like so different.
What would you say like the biggest difference is for you?
Just to look at life through a completely different lens, and to be more compassionate, be more understanding, be more accepting, less judgmental, you know, and realize why I was being all of those things to begin with, and now making the choice to not live that way anymore, but to have that space to talk about things and to get everything out in the open. And it's been such a transformation. I mean, I know we say that all the time, transformation, but it's true. It literally is this unbelievable transfer. It's the best decision I've ever made for myself by far.
Yeah.
For my entire life. Because it benefited everything. It benefits your relationships. It benefits your job. It's just your health. Everything.
Yeah.
Just gets impacted. And that's why I guess for me, we call ourselves elevated lifestyle coaches, is because we're trying to elevate life, right? We're trying to help people elevate their life to a much higher level. So
Mhm.
So amazing. So
Yeah,
cool.
it is so cool. And it's like, sometimes it's like you want to form like a new habit and maybe like it kind of falls off the rails. I feel like with coaching, it gives me that like structure and accountability, and like it's almost like sometimes, yeah, it is uncomfortable because I
Mm-hmm.
think if we're not doing our job, like it has to be a little uncomfortable for people for sure. And even knowing going into my own sessions with my coach, I'm like, oh God, she's going to ask me about that thing. And if I did
Yeah.
it and I didn't, and oh God. But it's kind of like, okay, so, well, let's just talk about how come you didn't do it. And it just kind of
Mm.
keeps me on the path of like where I want to be in life.
Mm.
So it always just kind of keeps you like centered and focused and going,
Yeah.
and just like takes it, like you said, elevated to this new level.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So as a coach, a common concern, and I've actually done some research on this about what people are actually really, really struggling with. So
Mm.
women within this group, women that I know in the area. So one of the biggest things that people are concerned about, worried about, is not being able to live their purpose.
Mm.
So what does actually living a purposeful life mean? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, this is such a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think it's about what that means to the individual person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a friend of mine shared an article with me once, and it was about like living your purpose. And I'll have to get it and I can share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, what if my purpose isn't to like travel the world and save people and create world peace? Like, what if that isn't my purpose? What if my purpose is to have my family and love them and live every day? Um, and it was almost like sometimes they felt like that wasn't good enough because there's all
Mm-hmm.
these other things they could be doing. But
Yeah.
for her, for this woman, it was like, that's my purpose, just to love my family and live, you know, be happy, and kind of more like simpler, I guess, in some way.
Right.
So I kind of feel like your purpose is whatever it is to you. If your purpose is to like visit every country, then that's what it is. If your purpose is to like elevate people's lives and show them, you know, the special unicorn and unique person that they are, like that's your purpose. If it's to work with kids, and create like these mindful, happy, like loving beings from a young age, like that's your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If it's to like have a little bit of adventure in your life every day, if it, you know, like I feel like it's totally up to the individual person, I guess. So I guess the definition of it is like you're doing something that lights you up. Like it feels kind of like coming home in a way. Like you just feel like, oh yeah, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like it's almost like a feeling in your body.
Yeah, I'm writing that down. Coming home. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What
And
do you
I think,
think?
well, I think the big problem, and I'm sorry, everyone, I keep fixing my hair.
You have the best hair. Oh my God. It's so
I keep fixing my hair. I'm sorry. Anyway.
It's so good.
Thank you. Okay. So I think the problem that people run into when trying to discover what their purpose is I think that they're thinking like making like their purpose being like Oprah level, right? Like this big life changing like thing that they do in the world that impacts like everyone, and you know, and of course really if your purpose is, you know, you want to be a better wife or a better like mom or a better, you know, thinking that way, like big up here, like you're probably going to feel like you said, like they feel like they're not good enough because they're just, I think we're just kind of thinking way, way, way too big.
Yeah, and then it almost puts this like pressure and performance on us, and like, oh, look at somebody like Oprah, like she started a school for girls in Africa and gives away like millions of dollars in gifts, and like I'm over here just like living my life with my family, and then we like judge ourselves for it. and we feel bad about it. So as you were talking, that reminded me of through like the coaching program that I went through called accomplishment coaching. There's an exercise that we do like when we're going through the program, and we do it with our clients. And it's funny, I didn't think of this earlier. It's your life's purpose. It's this exercise that we do of like what your life's purpose is. And through this exercise, I determined that my life purpose was bliss. So it's just like a word or a feeling, right?
Okay.
Some people, their life purpose was love or connection or enlightenment or sanctuary. Right. You know, so it was almost like, so if my life purpose is bliss, so for me, I need to close my eyes so I can like get there for a moment. But for me, bliss is like creating a world where everyone is happy. And they're just doing what feels good, and they're loving other people. And it's kind of like a feeling. So it's almost like no matter what you're doing, you can be that feeling and be living your purpose. So not so much like an action, I guess, but a feeling.
Right. A feeling. I like that actually. I haven't thought of it that way before. But yeah, being more of a feeling.
Because then you can like live, if that's your purpose, that word or whatever it might be for you, you can do that no matter what you're doing. Like you can do it when you're grocery shopping, you know, like people might, I mean, I'm not always like this, but I might be like, oh, hi, how are you? You know, like I'm just like feeling like bliss and like looking at the world that way. And some people think like, oh God, that's just so, maybe it seems fake, but for me, it just feels so real because I'm doing the things that like make me feel blissful. If it's going to the gym or taking care of myself, or like I'm setting my life up that way to be that way in the ways that make me feel like bliss.
And you know what? I like that way of looking at it, and I'm writing it down because you're teaching me like so much here. Well, excuse me while I take my notes.
Of course.
Okay. Yeah, but I like the idea of it being a feeling. And I watched a video recently about kind of goal setting and how goal setting, the traditional goal setting, really doesn't work for people. And what we should be doing is thinking about what do we want to experience. So what experiences do we want to have, right? So then that can kind of go back to the feeling. Like if I experience this, how's that going to make me feel? So I love that you can kind of tie the feelings in there because, I like that.
It's cool. And it kind of brings up, so there's this woman in my group the other day, in my Facebook group, that was talking about like happiness, and she hasn't really felt happy in a long time. And, you know, I asked her what happiness means to her. And I think she said something around like feeling free and strong. And there's something else. And it was kind of like, okay, so what are the things that you do that make you feel that way? So it's, these things in your life that you do that like, I feel like I just blanked for a second, but it was what you were saying. Like, it's not the goals. It's like, what can we do that makes us feel the way that we want to feel? Yeah.
The experience
that you want to have. Right.
Yeah.
And doing those things that make us feel that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because the goal setting, I can see, you know, especially in the traditional goal setting where it's like you go to school and you graduate and you go to college, then you get married, then you have kids, or before that, usually you buy a house and then you have, right? Like all of these like traditional ways of these goals that we're supposed to reach. But then now instead of going, well, what do I want to experience? Like, some of that could probably be in there too, but it could be more like, I want to ride in a hot air balloon, or I want to travel the world. Or I say that because one of my dear friends, that's the biggest thing she wants to experience.
I totally want to go on a hot air balloon, but I don't know. I know my husband won't go with me, but I'll have to find somebody else, maybe your friend. But I totally want to. I think it would be so awesome.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
Oh yeah,
totally fun.
I feel like I want like a Remax commercial just in one of those big balloons or whatever.
I know. I saw one of those actually this weekend when we were away. Yeah, it was like this hot air Remax balloon. Yeah.
That's so funny.
So
yeah, so it's like I feel like that when you have those goals, it's like there's pressure and performance and yeah, it's almost like what are you doing all that stuff for? What's the feeling or what's the experience that you want to have?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes so much sense to me. That way of thinking.
Yeah, it kind of takes like the pressure out of it. It's like, oh, I just want to feel this way. Well, what things make you feel that way? And
right.
More of those.
And I like that idea of taking the pressure off. Yeah, I do. Because we put so much pressure on ourselves for everything. So being able to take that away, it's like a bonus for sure. Yeah. So if we went back to talking about someone's purpose. So if somebody were to come to you, a client comes to you and they say, they want to discover what their purpose is, like, where do you begin?
So I have some questions like written down here that I can even post after maybe in the comments if people want to ask themselves this. But before I do that, I was just thinking that, I don't know, maybe I didn't ask you this. So the conversation that I have like through my work, which is called like an essence conversation. And it's kind of along the same lines as like your life purpose, or it's discovering like your essence and your greatness. So, I mean, I'm happy to put that out to your people if someone wants to have an essence conversation, or I feel like I should do it with you first and then you can see if you want to offer it to your people. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
let's do that.
I would love to. Yeah.
And then, so I don't want to give it away. So let's do it with you first, and then you can put it out to your community if you want, and we'll just keep it as a secret for now.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, so that's something that I do. That's like kind of one of like the foundational pieces. Yeah. And it gives clients kind of like it's that feeling or those words or like a place to come from of how you live your life. So that's a huge piece. But some of the questions I came up with was, so say this was something that was asked to me once and it had a big impact on me. So say you are on stage and everyone is listening, like you have the eyes and the ears of the world. And what is the one thing that you want them to know? And if I asked you that question, like what might you say?
That's a good question. So if I had all the eyes and the ears of the world on me at that moment, what would I want them to know? So what would I want them to know? Is that about anything, or is it just about me?
Just anything.
Anything. What do I want them to know? I want them to know how limitless they are, or how powerful they are. Everyone. Yeah. That's what I would say. That's my answer.
Yeah. So like knowing that there's just like possibility and power. Possibility and strength, for everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah, for everybody.
Yeah.
That we're born limitless, but we put limits on ourselves. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Nice.
I've never thought about that before.
Yeah, so it's kind of like for you, it's part of your like your mission or your purpose is to show people the possibility that's out there and like the strength that they have in themselves to live that possibility.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like that question when the person asked me it, I was like, oh, it just had like a lot of impact and kind of insight for me about the legacy I want to leave, or kind of what your daily mission is, right?
Yeah.
And another question is, and you don't have to answer these, I'll just put them out there, but you can if you want to. What is the one thing you'd regret not doing in the next year?
I want to answer these questions.
Okay, yeah, cool. I love
me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. So, what would I regret not doing within the next year? Oh,
Mhm.
my background.
No, your backdrop fell.
And just like that, we keep going.
I know. This is real life, people.
I love that so much. Okay, so what's the question again? So what would I regret not doing within the next year?
Yeah, what's the one thing you'd regret not doing in the next year?
Oh, what is the one thing that I would regret not doing within the next year? Starting my group coaching program.
Hmm.
I would regret it because I keep putting it off, and I would definitely regret that if I'd put it off any longer.
So what is the feeling that having the group program will bring you?
It would bring me a sense of accomplishment. It would also bring me a feeling of, I would feel worthy in the sense that I'm helping a group of people kind of step into their power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes you feel worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How else would it make you feel?
How else would it make me feel? It would make me feel just like I think I said this earlier, but like I accomplished something. Like I was able to create something, I put it together, and now it's out there in the world. So I would feel just in kind of like a very creative, enthusiastic, inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Sarah's laughing at us.
I saw that.
Yeah, this is what my office actually looks like.
There's a door there.
There's a door.
Yeah, so I heard you say worthy, creative, enthusiastic, inspired, accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So those are some of like the feelings and experiences that you're after.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you when you're doing your group program because you said it out loud now.
Yeah, I did. I know it's out there in the world, coming in September. Yeah. So
cool. And another question is, so if you think of someone that you admire, could be like a celebrity or someone in your life, that you might know them or only kind of know them on, know of them. And what are the qualities of that person that you admire?
The qualities would be, again, like enthusiastic, motivated, playful, not so serious. Yeah, just funny, silly, but strong and inspiring at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. Ooh, I like these questions.
Yeah. Yeah. What else about that person? Anything else?
What else about that person? What's the question again?
What do you admire? Like, what are the qualities? The qualities, yeah.
Strength, confidence, amazing work ethic. Amazing. Yeah, there's so many things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my answers.
Nice. So I have a hunch that if I asked your unicorns if they know someone who's enthusiastic, motivated, playful, funny, silly, strong, inspiring, confident, and amazing work ethic, they'd say you.
Oh, I love that.
Hey, Allison Crow.
Hi, Allison. You missed my backdrop, like falling down earlier. You missed that. It was, it was great.
And Allison, thank you, because you're the reason that Deelle and I are talking today, because we met in your group.
We did.
Yeah.
That was in Allison's group. And the funny thing is, I just sidetrack here for a second, but I saw Amy's comment in the group saying that she was Canadian. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm Canadian. So I commented on her comment. And then she goes, wait a second. Don't you know my sister? And I said, oh my gosh, your sister and I were the best friends like for a year. It was totally that. Are you from Canada? Hey, do you know so?
We're just all such a tight bunch up here.
Yeah, it's total stereotypical Canadian. You're from Canada. You must know so and so from here. Yeah, it was the best. It was the best. So total small world. Totally. Yeah. So I love that you just did that. Those exercises, because I would hope that the people in the group would say those things. Absolutely. Wow. That was really, really neat.
Yeah. It's almost like these like qualities and things that we admire in other people. Like we see those, I'm realizing, is because we have a part of that in us. And maybe like we don't necessarily think that way about ourselves. So it's like if you are that like strong, confident, inspiring, funny person, like how do you live that out on a daily basis, right? Like if those are the feelings and the qualities that you want to have, like what could you be doing that makes you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that we did that exercise, because I feel I'm living my purpose, right? Because I kind of came from the, like you did, like the office 9 to 5, that type of thing. I came from that world, that kind of miserable, like, I can't stare at like sitting in a cubicle anymore, like that. I came from that kind of world. And to be in this role as a coach and in this group, that was the goal, was to motivate and inspire. And so that was really cool that we just did that. Awesome. Because you're right. People don't see themselves as who their role models are, who they aspire to be like, right? And it's like a lot of the times you already have a lot of those qualities, but we don't think that we do.
No.
Right? That's powerful stuff right there, girlfriend. That is so cool. Sarah said too, she's like, very cool. I know. That is amazing. So if we were to get into some tools that people could kind of implement into their life today, like how they could start living their purpose, what would some of those tools be, do you think?
So I think based on what we've talked about so far is like, one thing is kind of pulling out some like common themes, right? So if it's the question about like, what would you want everyone in the world to know? And for you, it was like that there's possibility and strength in everyone to, kind of like limitless options, right? Like life is limitless. Yeah. And then it was, we talked about, what else did we say? Yeah, like the one thing that you'd regret not doing. And for you, it was the group program. And it's like, well, how come? And it's because it makes me feel like worthy and accomplished and creative and enthusiastic and inspired. And then with the other question about, it's funny because enthusiastic came up a couple times here.
Didn't it?
Yeah. It was interesting when I was like, oh, how would the group program make you feel? Enthusiastic was one of those things. And then the person that you admire and their qualities, like the first thing you said was enthusiastic. So it's like, I just like passion, like they're bringing a lot of like passion and fire and heart into what they do.
Right.
You, right? Like that's who you are. So notice if there's like common themes or common words or like a common feeling.
Yeah.
Think about what are some things that you could do to start feeling that way, like on a regular basis. Like, what makes you feel like enthusiastic?
Yeah.
Right?
Me? Yeah. Can I answer?
Yeah.
I like answering all these questions now.
I love it.
What makes me feel enthusiastic? Well, I mean, my coaching in this group, obviously, it's why I do it. I want to bring my enthusiasm, I guess, to the world. So how do you do that? Videos, within this group, that type of stuff. Yeah, and I just feel enthusiastic about, I try to bring enthusiasm to everything. Like
I love it.
Working out, being with my family, that type of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like having more.
I'm on the right track.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, it's like having those things in your life. And I think for the people in your group, like if they're not sure if they're living their purpose or they don't feel like they are, one of the things that I love doing is writing about like a day in the life of the future you. So if it's you like 6 months from now or a year from now, and sometimes people are like, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. And it's like, that's okay. Like, what are you feeling? And you might have some idea of the things that you might want to be doing, right? Or like, what does it feel like? What is it, is it like, oh, I wake up and the window's open and the birds are chirping and I have like fresh smelling white crisp sheets and like, kind of like paint this like multi-sensory experience for yourself. Like, like what are the feelings that are happening?
Right. That is a strong, important exercise for people to do. To put themselves actually in that moment. Like, what does that feel like? What does it look like? That is something I dabbled with like over the last couple of years, and it is so thought-provoking and I always say powerful, but it is powerful exercise to do.
Yeah, because you said like you journal a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like just when you're writing down like what that future you is like sometimes it's like, oh my God, like it's like you said, it's so powerful. It's like so juicy that it's like, I have to do something to make me feel this way, like right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 6 months from now or a year from now, but it's like, once you're seeing like what you want to be feeling and doing, it's like, okay, how can I get that feeling right now? And what's going to bring you that feeling right now? Is it like, going in the hot air balloon ride or, like what is something that like, just going for a run? I don't know, something that makes you feel that way, like right now.
Yeah.
And start to do more of those things that make you feel that way.
Right. Yeah. And another part of the goal, like when I was talking about earlier, the goal setting, like what do you want to experience? The next question was, how do you have to grow to be that person? Right? Awesome. So what do I have to do here? If I want to experience those things, what do I need to do to be able to experience those things? Right? So then you can start like mapping it out, right? Like if you pick one, okay, I want to do this. Okay, map out all the ways, how do you make that happen, right? Like people just sit so much in their mind and the thinking and going, oh, I really would love to do that. I'd really like to do this and that and blah, blah, blah. But no one's like getting the ball rolling or the wheel turning. Like no one's going in the direction where they need to go to be that person. right?
Yes. And like what Sarah said too, she just commented about like sounds like vision board, like making a vision board. And it is, it's like that, like the written version, I guess, of the vision board by writing like your future vision. And it's like if you like, so I remember when I had my vision board, it's like this was before we like redid our house, and I had like this whole wall like of pictures, and like I had all my vision. Like I just asked my husband, I was like, "Do you mind if I just start covering this disgusting yellow wall with pictures?" Because like I had to have it like in front of my face all the time, right? Like if you do a vision board and then like put it, oh yay, Sarah's working on it right now, awesome.
Oh, cool! I love vision boards.
I know. Put it in the closet or like put it somewhere, or like you look at it and be like, isn't that nice? That future life, like yeah, it's awesome. But like, what are you gonna do about it now? Yeah. How are you gonna start? Right. If one of the things on like whatever that is, like what's something that you can do to get there? You know, mine was to be able to swim like so many laps in the pool. So it's like, well, I started taking swimming lessons and like kind of marked down like, oh, like by this time I want to be able to swim 2 laps. Then I want to be able to swim 4 laps. Like,
right.
Put some kind of like action or like structure around it.
Yeah.
To make it happen. Right.
Yeah. And sit down and do it. Like sit down and actually do the exercise. Cause a lot of the times people hear stuff and they go, yeah, I know. I know. And it's like, well, if you really knew, you would be doing it. So don't just say that you know, actually put it into practice, right? Like take 10 minutes of your time and just map out that future you. Like what does that look like? And then pick one of them and then map it out. Like, okay, how do I get to that person? This is what I need to do here. You need to go here. You need to here. Like it could be mapped out like so and like much easier.
Right. And like make it fun. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm mapping out my future vision now. You know what I mean? Like put on some music or like go to the park or like where's somewhere where you like to hang out and it's fun for you. Yeah. Like this is where you're going to plan the life that you want. Like it should be fun, right?
It should be exciting. Yeah. Right? We should be excited about that. Right. We should. And I'm so glad that we're talking about this because I just got my husband and son bought me this for Mother's Day, and it's the passion planner.
Everyone has these.
Passion planner.
Who makes those, or how do you order it?
Oh, you know what? Good question. My hubby did all of that, but it has these exercises in it, and I love that. So, and I sat down yesterday and like took the time to actually do it, and I can honestly say that it works so well. So it's telling you, what do you want to accomplish in 3 months? What do you want to accomplish in 6 months? What do you want to accomplish in a year? What do you want to accomplish in like 3 years? What do you want to accomplish in your lifetime? And then when you actually like take the time to write that all out, and then on the other side, you get to pick something. Okay, what's like super, super important to you on that list? Yeah. So you pick it, and then you start mapping it out. And then when I started to do that, I was like, oh, this is so much easier than I thought. Like it seems like a complicated process to get from here to there. But now when I see all these little ways to get there, I'm like, this is totally doable.
Yeah, and like you can just put it in like little kind of like micro steps too, right? And like when I do like project planning with clients, it's like we start at the future, so like the future vision, or like you said, like where you're going to be 3 years from now, and then you just kind of like work your way backwards. Like, so if you're going to be here in a year, well, where do you have to be in 6 months? Where do you have to be in 3 months? And then it doesn't seem so like daunting and overwhelming. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, I could do that in like 2 months. That's totally doable.
Yeah. And I can't emphasize enough for people to just do it. Sit down and do it. Like these exercises of actually taking pen to paper, maybe not just thinking about it, actually sitting with a pen and a piece of paper and writing it out it can change everything. I wanted to say life-changing. Ah.
I mean, it is, right? Like
it is.
That's what I'm writing, and it's like, holy crow! Like that's what I want. Sometimes you don't even know. For me, I don't even know what I'm going to write about. I'm like, oh, I'm writing because I said I would, and I don't know what I'm going to say, and like, oh, I'm thinking about this, and like you just kind of write like stream of consciousness, and you don't necessarily have to know what you're going to write. You just put your pen to the paper and go. And then it's like, oh, I didn't know that was still in there. Or, it just kind of like keeps coming, or then other things come into your head and it's like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. And
right. Powerful stuff.
It's so
love it. So great. So
cool.
If we were to, like, what advice do you want to give to the unicorn tribe?
The unicorns. Yay. And I love how you like described kind of like the essence of this whole group. Like fun and playful, but they're so caring and open and understanding, and they have this like beautiful like feminine energy. And I think based on what we've talked about today, it's like, think about how you want to feel and just start doing things that make you feel that way every day. If it doesn't have to be these like big monumental things.
Right.
Maybe it's like, okay, I like to eat my lunch outside. Well, just go eat outside today. Like just start doing like little, like adding more things into your life that make you feel the way you want to feel.
Yeah. That is so right on. Right on. And because we don't spend enough time doing that.
No. And journal, like you said, like write it out, write it down.
Oh, what does yours say?
Oh, mine says smile. My friend got me this. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, I love it.
It's sparkly too. I like it.
And that's helpful too. I mean, if you like fancy, cute little things, like get yourself like a
right. And I like the way my pen feels in my hand. Like it writes nice and like.
And this is my journal. It's like all these cute little like. Go to the dollar store, has them, for crying out loud.
Yeah, and do something that, like, it makes it fun for you.
Doesn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely. It's just, it makes such a difference. I know I keep saying that. I know I keep saying it's powerful. I know I keep saying it's life-changing. But the reality of it, exactly. The reality of it is that it just is.
And sometimes it's like I feel like you're like, it's so powerful and life-changing. And I know that too. It's 'cause like we know where we were before. Like I still feel like I'm on a journey, but like I know what I was like a year ago, where I was like, oh God, I'm in this job, and like it wasn't that bad, but it was just like, but I'm making good money, and how do I leave this? And it's almost like, but what I was doing like didn't align with my true values. So I feel like those qualities that you admire in people, like those are kind of like your true values. So how do you start living those values? How do you start living that way you want to feel? And not, like you said, just graduating and getting the house and having the family because other people say that you have to. Like, check in with yourself. Is that even what you really want?
Exactly. Yeah, I love that a lot. And I just encourage anyone that's watching the video to answer those questions like I did. That was like, whoa.
I'll like, I can, in the comments, I think I can I'll type the questions in the comments if you want.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And just so people can go back and answer them. 'Cause I mean, I've done a lot of, deep inner work and coaching and, been coached and all that stuff, but still doing those little exercises, like just answering those questions with you right there. I was like, oh my God.
I know. And like someone always has something to give you. Like I think about when we had our conversation, I was like, I got so much from it. It's like if you set it up so that like, I wonder what I'll learn from this person today, you can learn so much. Just be curious and try it out.
Oh, I can't say enough about it. It's just, it's not scary. It's not scary. It's worth it, right?
The fear is like the biggest thing, but once you actually do the thing, you're like, oh, that wasn't that scary.
I love that.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to say, do that, what do you call it? The essence?
Oh, the essence conversation.
Yeah. How do they do that?
So you just have to book a call with me. It's a free conversation. I can put the link in the comments if you want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I'd love to do it with you. We should set that up.
Sign me up.
Share with your people what you think of it. So
yeah, no, I love that for sure.
Okay, cool.
And usually before we shut things down, I always like to put an angel card. I always put angel cards at the end.
Okay.
Which one am I going to choose? Which one shall I do? What do you think? Angels or unicorns?
Let's do a unicorn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always drawn to the unicorns, and it's this one.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I always like to pull a card at the end just because it adds just a little oomph to the conversation. I like to say. And just while I'm doing that, I mean, thank you so much. I found that to be so valuable.
Yeah, you are just like so deliciously awesome. I'm just like, and I feel like that's probably what your people love about you, just like your energy, and you are that like enthusiasm, just like you seem all the time just like so passionate and happy and strong. And I'm just so happy that we connected and that you invited me to be here. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm so psyched to have connected. I mean, you're like the sister of like my best friend. Like,
I know.
What? I didn't even know that.
Best friend, yeah. So cool.
Okay, so what do we need to know? What do we need to know today? Let's see. Let's see what magic is going to pop up here today. And I've been doing this new thing where I'm like shuffling them and like cards like pop out onto the floor. And one just did. One flipped over. Okay. Woo! Let's see. We got the this one. It's called Very Soon.
Ooh, oh, she's flying.
Flying. And I love this. And it says, what you're asking for will happen soon in a happy way. And I love that one came up because when you start putting your ideas out there, like what you want to accomplish, what you want, it can happen very soon.
So true. It's like what you said about the group program. You know what I mean? Like you set it out into the world. It's almost like once you kind of make that like public declaration, things start to happen. Exactly.
And I'm going to read just what it says because I like to read kind of like the little thing in the book here. If I could actually, I don't seem to know my letters very well today. Alphabetical order is not working for me too well either. Okay, very soon. All right. So what it says is this card wants you to know that your prayers are coming true very soon. There's no need to hurry or rush, and there's definitely no need to worry. After all, worry can slow down your wishes. Your desires are coming true in what's known as divine timing. This means that they're happening at exactly the perfect time for everyone involved. All the pieces of the puzzle are falling into place in just the right way. You'll be very pleased with the results. This card asks you to keep believing and not give up hope. As you're waiting, put your energy into taking positive action to help your prayers along. For instance, if you get a strong feeling to do something like reading a book, taking a class, or writing something, it's important that you do so. You've created your own luck because your strong faith, your positive thoughts, and your willingness to do the work that's needed to make your dreams come true. What?
I love that. I feel like that just encapsulates everything we just said. Like in this beautiful way.
This is the story of my life. Seriously. In these videos, and I do other videos in another group called Elevated Lifestyle, and it is so bang on. Every single time. After every video, it's like, boom. Let me just add that little something. And this is it. Like, what? And it's not the most colorful card in the world, but it's like,
it's beautiful. Things always come up for me that have like the sky in the background too. Like I had someone else pull cards and there's always like the sky or stars or something. So it
Oh,
was cool.
seriously?
Yeah, when you pulled that one, I was like, oh, the sky's in the background. Like,
Yeah.
there's always
And there's always some hidden gem in the background. Like I always tell people when they have cards read or whatever to always look in the background, because there's always some little something that you probably connect with in the background, and that is very cool that you connect with.
it's almost like the sun too. Is there the sun coming up in the background of that photo?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like very soon the sun will be up.
Yeah. And I love that it's actually a unicorn that has wings, because we are meant to fly. We are not meant to be constricted and this prisoner mindset that we have going on.
Limitless, what you just said, limitless.
I said limitless, right? So, hello, unicorn with wings? How more limitless can you get?
I know. Jeez, that's like limitless right there. And so awesome.
Cool. Well, again, Amy, thank you.
Thank you. So great being with you.
So much for being here. I know we have like a couple minutes left, but it's all good.
Yeah, it's so good. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And you're going to put the comment or the questions in the comments below. So again, people, do the questions.
So good. I love that you got so much out of them. Thanks for like just being so like, just playing along with it. I love it.
Oh, I love that stuff so much. Okay. So thank you again for being here, and love you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
See ya.